So thank you for taking the time to spend with us today, Cyd. I really appreciate it. And let's get started. So I noticed recently you Pattern Nation was participating in the African Fashion Week during the March 22nd weekend this year. Can you tell me a little bit about this?
Yeah, so I am one of the artists and the founder of the brand Pattern Nation, and we are not only a clothing brand, but also a creative platform and artist collective. There are three members of the team, myself is Sid, and then my husband, Costa Besta, he is South African, and my best friend, Brianna, who's also Canadian and from Coquitlam like me. So, yeah, this collection was showcased in African Fashion Week as this event has been super supportive of my husband and his work. He has done past collections for them before, but this year we were able to showcase a collection that him and I collaborated on, which was all sewn and manufactured by local businesses in Cape Town and Durban, South Africa, where we spend part of our time. And the exciting part about it is that although some of the fabrics are sourced locally in Durban or Cape Town, a majority of the fabrics for this collection are actually my artwork and designs that Costa and I worked on together. So, and it's also our biggest collection of clothing that is not just one of a kind, but it's smaller runs. So, working with
Mhm.
a local print company in Durban called Startex, and then a CMT. It's called Cut Make Trim. It's like a seamstress business, a small family business in the township of Chesterville outside of Durban in KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. And that's a business with a family of color. They were super wonderful to work with. And then we got to bring it here to Vancouver and showcase on so many amazing models. Like they just kept giving us models and everyone was such a great vibe. And we were so excited to have a place to get to show the work that we've been doing, as this collection was produced in last year in 2024.
Wow,
Hmm.
fantastic. That's great. And it's nice to hear that there's just so much support for your line, right? And this idea of like that small run fashion as well as like eco fashion. I'm just
Hmm.
going to quickly share now. I hope this works. So for all of you out there in Facebook land, I'm going to try to share some little pieces. Sorry, yeah, let's see. Like, I want to get this.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
great. Yeah, so this collection on the top screen, that's Costa's collection he did in 2023 here. And then when he's
right.
there, that's my partner Costa.
Yep.
So that collection that he showed in 2023 was all his designs.
Wow.
This collection we recently showed was his and I design. So Brianna hasn't actually been involved with African Fashion Week. She doesn't live in South Africa. She's never been. So for her
Right.
role, it's funny, 'cause I think they just took our bio from our website.
Yeah.
But really, it's Costa's work that is on showcase at this
Mhm.
event, and they've been super supportive.
Yeah, that's fantastic. The other thing I noticed, you as well, just probably right before this, I'm guessing. So I'm just going to flash over to this. So
Yeah,
you were at Pattern Nation Eco Fashion Week. Now this is yours. This
this
is
is our
all about you.
collection. It's not all about us. This is Victoria
Oh,
Eco Fashion
okay.
Week. I think it
Yeah.
says in bio. We did this, I believe it was in 2023.
Yeah.
So this is a show that's more representative of all three of us as a designer collective.
Oh, wow.
So like the jacket was worked on by Brianna and I. Costa sewed the hoodie, I sewed the pants. So each look, and they're all one of a kind items in this runway show as well. This is before
Right.
we went to manufacture.
Yeah.
But we still make one of a kind item all the time. And again, Victoria Eco Fashion Week, awesome platform for local designers. So many amazing
Yeah.
models. And this
Yeah.
was shot by one of our other teammates, Scott Groller.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I noticed Scott. Actually, I think I used one of his images.
Great.
I
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, great photography. I just loved this though. I kind of saw a little piece at the very beginning. I was like, I want that jacket, you know?
Yeah, well, this one in particular took me a long time. It's one of the
Oh my God,
craziest
it's
embroidery.
gorgeous.
So, like, it's a mix of sewing up garments, and then working with existing clothing. So again, I designed the jacket, Brianna designed the jumpsuit, and she now goes by Men the Spirit as her design name.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's
lovely.
cool when we get opportunities to come together as collectives. Sometimes Costa shows alone, sometimes I show alone, sometimes Brianna shows alone, and sometimes we get to do a show like this where we
Yeah.
all get to contribute on people. Like this show was great. The youngest model was like 16 and the oldest was in his 50s, and it really was like such a family affair.
Right. I love that. It's just so diverse, like, inclusive. And just no kind of like, boundaries or borders or,
Yeah.
it's just like bringing everybody in there, right?
Yeah, and we say everything that we design is ungendered, and it's
Right.
all to be used to express yourself in any way you want. Obviously some things are more femme, more masc, but it's always colorful, it's always ungendered.
Yeah, I love that. I saw that one actually on Mend. This
Yeah,
one
this
in
is
your
one of our
photo shoot.
Yeah, we have another photo shoot. We
Yeah.
actually do for another team photo shoot. That was a few years back.
Yeah, for sure. It's a gorgeous piece. Well, I'm going to stop share.
Yeah, it's quite a
And
long show, but we have lots of other footage of different shows on our YouTube channel. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah, for sure. And by all means, people can just, if they just go and do a search on Pattern Nation, go video, that should pop right up at the top, actually,
Yeah.
because it's probably your most recent one. So tell me a little bit. Like I know you've kind of already elaborated, some of the peoples that are part of Pattern Nation, but when and where did this concept begin and why? Like just give me a little history here.
Yeah, so it's actually been like 8 years that Pattern Nation has been going, maybe a little bit over that. Um, my legal last name is Patton, and I love
Oh,
patterns. Like I've always been drawn to
yeah,
them.
yeah.
And so, people kind of playing around with calling me Sydney Eva Pattern. And then I just wanted, as I emerged as an artist, to create something that was bigger than myself, that was a place to represent the work and collaborations I was doing, because collaboration is a huge foundation of what we've done with Pattern Nation over the years. And so, yeah, the name kind of came into being, not yet knowing what it was, in December of 2016. So I create these like textile sculptures that hang from the ceiling. They're called blobs, and they're one of the offerings that we rent. So the first blob show was in Vancouver, December 2016, and I had just sort of emerged with the name Pattern Nation as a platform and moving away from using my own name with my artistry. And also at that point, I hadn't even really learned to sew. I was just starting to play with fashion design. I was more in visual arts and sculpture. And I was given an artist residency, or I applied for and was able to go to Johannesburg in 2017 in March, so a few months after that. And it was about uh, 3 days into me being in South Africa that one of my good friends, who is also one of the Jason artists who DJs at a lot of our events, Oaboa, she took me down to Durban, which is about 6 hours from Joburg, and it's more of a beach city, beautiful spot. And that's where I met Costa, and we just clicked. He had previously run his own clothing company called Rock, Paper, Scissors. He was thrifting under a name called Retro Costa, and though both of those were just things that he had just ended. And so when we met, he came on board with Pattern Nation right away. We've also been, not only creative partners but life partners since that point. And that took me on a journey of traveling to live in South Africa with him, for about over 5 years. In the last 8 years, tough time. We were able to live in Durban for a while, and then during COVID, study fashion. So meanwhile, that's me and Costa's connection. However, me and Brianna met when we were 7, and we have been working
Mm.
on artwork together since then. We even used to have a band. We've done many collective shows, so our creative friendship runs even further back. Her storyline is that her uh, ex-partner is from Bangalore, India. So she was living in India and had started her own design brand called Glad I Exist, creating textile artwork for activewear, mostly leggings, but also one of a kind dresses and more, yeah, activewear stretch materials and highly colorful, super awesome. So it was around COVID 2021 when Brianna had moved back to Canada. We had moved back to Canada. Costa got his permanent residency. And so she came on board as an official member of Pattern Nation. And we now sell the leggings she designed under Glad I Exist through our brand. But yeah, so these are two amazing humans in my life that I have the pleasure of working with. And because we work together as a team, have a platform to share our creativity, and we collaborate with so many artists. And in our photo shoots, often we have interviews and articles. So I'm usually on your side
Mm.
of the interview. So it's
On
fun
the
to be on this
this side of
side.
the camera kind of
Yeah,
thing, yeah.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, I hope that gives enough context, but, it's a
You
nation, it's connecting humans, people that are colorful. Whenever we're asked about our target market, it's like, if you're a human who loves to, express yourself, creativity, who wants to meet people across different backgrounds of all age ranges. Like I said, like, our oldest model in all our photo shoots was in his, like, mid-80s, and we've shot with my
Oh my
mom
gosh,
and
I love
different
that.
people, and then we also work with youth and have offerings for kids as young as 5 years old in arts education,
Mm.
so it's more than just clothing, it's also creating a place for creativity to blossom with a special interest and spotlight on South African Canadian connection.